Hi everyone, my name is Dumebi Anike-Nweze and I am an associate at Udodoma and Bello Osage. I work in the fintech, private equity and mergers and acquisition teams. I also work at ULaw. ULaw is a legal service provider that is powered by Udodoma and Bello Osage to cater exclusively to entrepreneurs, small businesses, MSMEs, and startups across several industries in Nigeria. Now, I will be speaking to you at Student Development Center about securing an internship and making the most out of it. I think a great way to start would be to answer two questions that I think you should be thinking about if you're not already thinking about it, but questions that I think undergraduates or people seeking to undertake internships typically worry about. So the first is when is a good time to start? I think this varies, and I think it's good to be forward thinking, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. You have some people that start internships as early as senior secondary school, and this doesn't have to be like an internship at Google or an internship at Microsoft. It could really just be an internship in a family friend's company, in like a friend of a friend's company, in like a family member's company, where you're doing administrative tasks like scheduling, sorting out like the minutes of a meeting if you attended, figuring people's schedules and things of that sort. It could also be that you decide that you want to start your internships at your undergraduate level, your first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, and so on. All of these are good times. And I think the main thing to remember is quality over quantity. If you do 20 internships and you gain nothing from it, you're unable to market yourself, and those internships will have no value in your career trajectory. If you do 3 internships and from those 3 internships you're able to fully maximize the opportunity, you're better off than someone who's done 20 internships that they can't really speak about or that don't really add value to their lives. So I hope that kind of answers question 1. Now question 2 is, should your internships be curated towards the career that you've chosen for yourself? So to put that into context, I am a lawyer. Should all my internships be legal internships, whether that's legal internships in-house or legal internships in law firms? And the simple answer for this is no. And the reason that I say no is because I find that people can often underestimate the significance of transferable skills and the impact that transferable skills can have when you're applying for roles. And this is because, technical expertise is excellent, but as an undergraduate student, people are not looking for your technical expertise. They're looking for how best you can fit into their company. How can you improve the working of the team for the duration of the time that you're there? Are you best equipped to absorb and learn as much as is thrown at you? And can you identify things that can be improved within that team and within that company? So I would say that if you're thinking about getting internships, and it's great if you know that is law you want to do forever and ever, nothing is ever going to change that. It's great if you feel like, I want to be a banker, I just want to work in finance, I want to work in treasury or investment banking, and that is all I want to do. But I would always say that you're better off creating diversity. Diversity is key. And remember also that when you're applying for internships or you're applying for jobs in the future, majority of the people applying for those jobs with you or applying for those internships with you will have similar backgrounds to you in terms of what have they done academically. If it's a job, what has their previous work experiences been? So how do you set yourself apart? If you decide that, oh my God, I really love cooking, and you decide, oh, I want to do an internship with a popular chef who's gone to Cordon Bleu, or I want to do something around cooking, I want to work in a bakery. That is something that you can transfer, because working, for example, a large bakery, you can talk about working in a team, you can talk about being systematic and methodical, you can talk about working under pressure, you can talk about how needing to be creative has fostered a creative intuition when you're problem solving. Like when you problem solve, you don't just think about, oh, this is the only way that people do it, but you're constantly expanding your mind and looking to proffer like creative, innovative solutions to your clients' legal problems or commercial needs. So I think that kind of has overhammered the response to the question. So I think we can then move into how do we secure these internships? So it's great to like be thinking about interning somewhere in a company, in a law firm, in a business. How do you actually get these jobs? And honestly, when I think about how the world is today, I feel really, really excited because of how much easier things are. For example, with social media. And I'm just going to plug you guys into some useful networks that I think will help you secure internships. For example, Twitter and LinkedIn. I mean, Twitter is probably one of the best social medias because it gives you all the drama, all the chaos, but people are consistently advertising opportunities on Twitter. So for example, you can follow Careers with Kemi on Twitter and you can follow Imade Iyamu on Twitter. Now, both these people are constantly, and it's not just them, there's so many others, constantly posting opportunities that are remote, that are hybrid, internships for undergraduates, graduate internships of different kinds across different industries. And it just makes it so much easier because there's a lot more visibility for companies who are looking for interns, right? Another powerful tool is LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is so useful because of the way it works, right? Like with LinkedIn, they can show you job offers. And with these job offers, you know, okay, this is the email. I'm going to prepare a cover letter. I'm going to prepare my CV and I'm going to send it to this email. But in addition to that, you can actually apply for internship opportunities through LinkedIn directly with the apply through LinkedIn. And what it does is it just sends your profile in to the recruiter and the recruiter can reach out to you directly. Now, I say this because like, even when you think about Twitter and LinkedIn, I've mentioned, for example, like two people in HR. Well, Imade is not really in HR, but she's constantly plugged into networks for opportunities and careers. But aside from these sorts of people, companies as well really pay attention to advertising opportunities in their businesses on their social media. So if you're interested in like working with Microsoft or even working with Twitter, working with LinkedIn, working with Meta, their internet profiles are a great place to start. Follow them on their social media. They are constantly like showing stuff. Sometimes, you know, even like for a split second, sometimes these opportunities are even direct, they give you direct access to actual full-time employment. Now, apart from that, a company's website is always useful because on the company's website, you can see how they market themselves, what they say about themselves. You can see the opportunities that they post. You can, you know, hear from other people. I know, like, for example, some websites, especially like global multinational companies, they have like a careers page, and in their careers page you see what alumni say about them, you see what current employees say about them. They might even have a specific page dedicated to interns, another page dedicated to like graduate employment, you know, those sorts of things that just give you a full like color and perspective on what this company is and what roles are available in these companies. Another thing, you know, is that sometimes opportunities are not readily presented to you and you have to go and you have to seek them out. A good way to do this is if you have a company that you are particularly interested in working in or working at, and you've been researching them, you know a bit about them, you've just been following them, but you've been unable to find any internship opportunities or job opportunities, don't be shy to send an email. Send an email to like a partner at the firm. If it's a law firm, send an email to the HR in the firm as well. You know, reach out to the people in the company that look senior up. Reach out to people that you know that actually work in the company. It's always useful to send an email, but let's be cautious when sending these emails. It's not to just send an email. Hi, my name is Tunde. I just want to apply here and work here. I'm so excited for the opportunity. That's just not good enough. You have to show that you have invested time into learning a bit about the firm, or even learning a bit about that person that you're approaching directly, and you're telling them, I want to have an opportunity to work with you or learn from you. I feel like I can bring this to the company, and most of the time what it is you're bringing is proactivity, a willing spirit, eagerness to learn, these transferable skills that you've picked up from different places. And it's always like, okay, I'm, here, but I also want to learn about XYZ. And I think that this is the best place for me to do that. And I would be grateful for, a few minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes to chat or to learn about more, opportunities. This doesn't always mean that the opportunity will come immediately. It might just mean that they will keep you in mind. So when opportunities do arise, you will be top of mind. Then another way is, career fairs and events at the university. So for example, if your faculty is inviting a few partners or the MBA is coming to speak there, I'm sorry that I'm making a lot of legal references because I'm a lawyer, so that's where I'm most familiar with. Or let's say, I don't know, Access Bank is coming to do a fair, or Access Bank is doing like a day in UI, for example. It would be very useful for you to go to such events with your CV, network with people, collect business cards, and don't take too long to reach out. If you meet me, for example, at an event or like a career fair and we have a chat, there's some rapport, you ask me questions about where I work. And I think it's always good to ask questions, especially when you meet someone. There's no question that really seems so silly. Ask them about how they find the work there. Ask them, when they were applying, like what sorts of places did they also consider and why did they choose here as opposed to other places. Ask them, if you were to give yourself and your younger self a piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be? Or what did you do then that you wish you did more of or less of? And how do you think it will impact you now? These are just questions that keep rapport going and make people feel like you are very interested in them and very interested in the opportunity that you're looking out for. So when eventually you contact them, they won't be hesitant to respond, or they won't see it as like a flimsy email that needs to be disregarded. So that's about how to secure these internships. Of course, when you do the initial step of reaching out, applying, it's then to prepare yourself for interviews, prepare yourself for the sorts of recruitment process that company undergoes in terms of recruiting for internships. Now, what is a good application? I always think that it's very important because the application most times is the first interaction that a person is having with you. So your application needs to be short, but it needs to be punchy. Now, when I say punchy, it needs to show three things. Why are you interested in this opportunity? Why are you interested in this opportunity at this company? And why you? Now, why are you interested in this opportunity? For example, you've always wanted to be a lawyer. What has triggered your interest in being a lawyer? What has triggered your interest in wanting to do investment banking or wanting to work for a development finance institution? Use your background. I grew up here and I noticed this. I've moved around quite a bit and I saw this. My parents are this, and growing up I was exposed to XYZ and I didn't do this. So it's always very useful to come from what you know to say where you want to go. Now, why the firm? So these questions are very useful in terms of structuring your cover letter, but also letting you know what sorts of information that you need to have. Now, when you apply to a company, it's oftentimes people just use like a general template, like, this is the general template I'm just going to send to 15 companies, without actually telling that company that I'm interested in you. Like, you have to toast them. You understand? If you're toasting somebody, you have to know a bit about them. So for example, you would say, for example, if you're applying to a tier 1 law firm, the truth of the matter is all the tier 1 law firms do the same kind of work, whether that's Templars, Olaniwu, UUBO, Alukwando Ebode, Bawani Godalo, GLIS, they all do similar work and they're all working on the same transactions. So it's good to highlight that they work on cutting edge deals. They are at the forefront of interesting, innovative transactions. However, it's not enough, because if you're coming to me at UUBO and you're telling me this is why you want to work at UUBO, why can't you work at Templars? Why can't you work at Olaniwu? Why can't you work at Bawani Godalo? What makes UUBO different from its peers? cares. So that's where you have to go into culture. That's where you have to go into what is like the tone of the firm, like how are their lawyers, what do people who work there have to say about them, what do clients have to say about them, how are they ranked. This is where your legal 500, your IFLR 1000, this is where you go and read articles about the firm. Is it the way they write, or like they distill information? Is it the way that their lawyers interact with each other? What is it about them that makes them, in addition to being excellent at technical expertise, where you want to work? Is it their diversity? Is it how their lawyers is it that they push their associates forward? Is it that it feels like, a family law firm, family practice, whatever? Think about what the culture of that firm is. And I would say this as well, when you're thinking about what to say about a firm, I think it's important to highlight the values of that company that also align with your personal values. Now, what does that mean? For example, I applied to UBO. I liked UBO because it was very innovative and forward-thinking, a very progressive firm. They're very key with innovation. With ULaw, for example, that caters exclusively to, MSMEs and startups, but also employs legal tech. I was very interested in diversity. It's a diverse firm, 50-50, top to bottom. So those are the things that were important to me as an individual. And those were the things that I highlighted about the culture of that firm. Because when you get to the next section of your application, which is why me, why you, you have to link it. You have to say, I'm here, like it's choose me because I know XYZ, my academic experience, yes, my professional experience, if you have any, but also because I align with who you are as a firm. Like I align with the personality of the company. I see the values that the company tries to like uphold, and I am in alignment. I can do more. I see where there are inefficiencies that I can improve, but I also want to like receive from you, but also at the same time give to you. So now you've gotten the internship. How do you make the most of it? I think that when coming into internships, or even at the start of your career, there is a level of humility that you have to embody. Humility in the sense that no matter how much you've done, you need to know that you are here to learn. This is the sponge phase of your life. Your primary goal is to soak up everything and to reproduce innovatively and effectively. So, what are the 3 things that I think are the most useful things to make the most out of your internship? Proactivity, visibility, and adaptability. Proactivity in the sense that you have to show an eagerness and a willingness to work. You have to look for work. You have to speak to people. You have to put yourself out there to learn. And that might be, saying you want to help write articles. You want to help, do a bit of work. You want to help improve the admin. You want to help, improve the pipeline. You want to discuss a transaction and offer your opinions. You've read something and done research and you think that this is useful in XYZ. That is how to be proactive. And I think proactivity goes hand in hand with visibility. When you're proactive and you get in there, people see you for your work. People see that you're able to do well, but it's not just about the technical expertise. It's also about what is your personality. Are you allowing yourself shine through with the things that you do and the interactions that you have? Will people be able to speak for you when you are absent in the room? These are the sorts of things that sort of also help you along the way as you grow through your career. And the last thing is adaptable. Now, I say adaptability because if you're someone like me, when you apply for an internship, you know exactly why you're applying to that law firm and you know exactly what you want to do in that law firm or company. So, for example, in a lot of my internships, part of why I've had up to 9 is because I wanted to do different things in each of those companies. However, that was not always the case. In some companies, I entered thinking I wanted to do this, but I wasn't actually able to do that. So I had to adapt to the situation and still show a willingness to learn. And at the end of the day, there was nothing that was wasted, even the things that didn't go according to plan. Everything had transferable skills. And in addition to those transferable skills, I was also able to pick up some technical skills. So what am I saying in essence? I think you just need to get out there, debunk and demystify any fear that you have about reaching out to people, about using your LinkedIn, about using your Twitter to put yourself out there and ask for opportunities, right? That is the kind of proactivity that gets you to places. And it also helps you to be visible. But don't just be visible without putting in the work. You need to put in the work behind the scenes. If you know that this is where I want to work, learn a bit about the place, learn a bit about the people, understand what they do. And then when you get there, know that this is your sponge phase. You have to be able to adapt to the situation and the circumstances. You have to be able to know that, okay, at this point in my life, I need to be flexible so that I can fit into this moving vehicle as much as I can. So thank you so much for listening to me. I hope that you found these tips very helpful. Again, thank you for tuning into the Student Development Center, and I hope that you have a very great rest of your day.